and money from them to get 140 GP, whilst in the process of leveling up. Now, another reason why this game is amazing is you have an on-the-fly build system where you can choose one of 4 stats to build mostly. So I'm going to go for a lot of power, because obviously that gives me strength to defeat my enemies. And it also gives me extra stamina, which is also HP and defense, and will. So the will gauge is very important. I'll explain that in a bit when it becomes more and more relevant. But just know that will is important. So yeah, I'm leaving one enemy on screen, because if I leave one enemy on screen, the enemies will respawn when I come back onto the screen. If I defeat all of the enemies on a screen, I have to go away 3 screens for the enemies to respawn again. So for the purposes of quick grinding, I'm going to be leaving one enemy on screen every single time to maximize my grind, basically. Nice and easy. Also, do note that the music in this game is absolutely fantastic. And again, one of the best soundtracks on the Game Boy. Okay, cool, we got enough. Nice, so 142 gold, in we go. So the reason I need 142 gold is for a strat that we kind of need to do this run. I'm going to do my first glitch in this game. Now, I know many of you are like, oh, glitches in speedruns? Legitimate, don't worry. I'm going to buy an iron helmet for 140 GP. I'm going to equip it, or rather I'm going to move it into the second slot. I'm then going to save, reset the game. Now, when the equipment menu has a space in the first slot, it thinks the first slot is the end of the list. So it doesn't know what to do with anything in the list after that item. I put the shield into slot 2. So when I equipped it, it just made my defense go up by 1. Instead of going up by 1, it went up by 9. Now the reason for that is every single inventory slot in the equipment slot has a number assigned to it, from 1 to 12, from the bottom to the top, 1 to 12 on the way up. It reassigns the defensive value rather than the actual defensive value. It gives it the value that the item is assigned. The slot is actually slot 11, so the defense becomes 11, not 2. So now I'm going to take 1 damage from everything. It's very important as well, because in this game, the damage calculation is additive. First of all, you have their attack power minus your defense with a damage roll. So now I have 9 plus defense, nothing's going to hit me. So narrative, we move along and we find this girl. Her name is Fuji. She's being accosted by mushrooms, killer mushrooms, and her friend Hasim died to these things. We save her, and then she joins our party. Now this is the first time we have access to the party system. I'm not going to use it really. I might do for a little bit, but every single character that joins your party has an ask system. So in the menu, there's the ask bar: item, magic, equip, ask. If I go to ask, every single character has a different thing. So Fuji, she has a regen effect. If I was to ask her for help, she would give me 7 ticks of a percentage of my HP back, which is very, very helpful. Now, it is very helpful, but there are a variety of characters. She gets kidnapped, goes missing. We have to save her a lot. Bogard here, we will meet him later on, and he does become another team member, but we don't really use him for this category in the game. I should note that this is any percent, not warpless. The world record is 32 minutes and 33 seconds. My estimate's 50, just because, don't ask, you'll find out later. So we speak to Bogard, and he tells us the history of the battle of the Power of Mana and the Gemma Knights and the Empire of Vandal. The Vandalian war against Mana happened many, many years ago, and all those years ago, Bogard fought alongside a woman who had the pendant of Mana around her neck. The pendant of Mana is the same pendant that the young lady Fuji here has. I'll give you some spoilers. The woman in the past is Fuji's mother. We're not going to see that cutscene because, haha, you'll find out. So now, equipped with a new item that we were given, we have the Mattock. The Mattock is a pickaxe that basically breaks down walls and breaks down rocks. Bit of clipping there. Something I haven't really talked about, and I probably should, is nice. So I was talking about iframes. When you attack enemies and they have iframes, you can't hit them again. However, because they're flashing, or they aren't flashing, you don't see it, but because they have their iframes, they actually have no collision detection, so you can actually run through them, and you can like run through enemies just like if you were flashing as well. So when I take damage, you'll see the flashing. It actually allows me to get multiple hits when enemies move. So if an enemy is still, and then, so there, you see I did 2 attacks quickly and managed to defeat him. When an enemy, I didn't actually buy keys. When an enemy is moving, it actually cancels the iframes. This is very important. You don't have enough money. How about some items? Buy keys. I'm actually going to buy, I'm not going to, don't worry. I did a wrong input. So I need keys to get through the game. In an actual like world record attempt, I'd be looking for particular item drops. An item drop is a 1 in 16 chance, and in order to progress through the game, I need certain drops. I need to get 1 Mattock drop, and I need to get a key drop. So for marathon safety, I buy a key just to make sure I don't have to sit there and grind it out. It's not very enjoyable. It should be noted that I'm trying to attack as little as possible now as well, because this is where I'm going to introduce the will gauge. On the bottom, below my HP and MP, you'll see that gauge that's slowly building up. That's the will gauge. It acts in 2 ways. It's a damage multiplier to begin with. For physical attack, it's ×1 at no build, and then ×2 at max build. For magic, it's ×1 at regular, and ×4 at max. You'd think that would make magic good. It's okay. The other thing, and the more important way that it works for me as a player, is that you get a special attack when it's maxed out. And again, context-sensitive combat is important here. So with the sword, if I was to press A to attack regularly, I would do a swing. If I was to press forward and attack on the D-pad, you do a stab. Now this also influences how my special bar activates. Don't you dare poison me, thank you. So if I was to do a regular when it's maxed out, I do a spin attack. But if I was to do a stab, you'll see it very, very shortly. I'm just going to let it tick up. I'm going to do a flying sword attack like that, which deals double damage and allows me to quickly kill these crocodiles. They're lizard men, don't ask. I call them crocodiles every time. Now, in order to continue this game, I needed to go into that manor, so that the girl gets kidnapped. Fuji gets kidnapped by the Lord of the Manor, which means that this chest appears, which is the bronze key. The bronze key allows me to enter our next and the first dungeon of the game, the Marsh Caves. Music is amazing. So this is the Marsh Caves. That there is the Red Mage. We don't really need to speak to him and don't really want to speak to him. He adds a lot of time. He is another of our teammates. He can join you, and he'll throw fireballs, and he'll give you information about keys and stuff. So I will be killing the flying fish, or the land leeches. They have a chance to drop the mattocks that I'm after. I need 1 drop only. And I do get a fair chance to kill a lot of them, so... They also hit like trucks, so I do have to be careful. They're the first enemy that, after doing the helmet glitch to give myself +9 defense, they're the first enemy that actually deals more than 1 damage. There we go, breaking walls. Now the game teaches you by doing it. It doesn't tell you what the sickle does. You just have to equip it and find out that it cuts down these little vines. I'm going to precursor something as well. You cannot stand on those vines, okay? Remember that. That's very, very, and I repeat, very important for this category. You cannot stand on the vines. Okay. So again, you can see I'm using the iframes to attack enemies, get behind them, and not take damage, so I can continue my momentum moving as much as possible. To note as well, I am playing this on the Super Game Boy 2. Super Game Boy 1 that did come out in the West has a faster clock speed, so actually runs this game faster than it should be. And you're probably wondering why you don't just play it on Super Game Boy 1. The Game Boy community generally tends to see SGB2 and the original Game Boy clock speed as the standard. I got... That's the key drop that I bought. Sure. Whenever you do a marathon run, you'll always get key drops. Okay. So again, I'm building power because it makes me very, very strong, and I don't yet need to build defense or too much HP just yet. I will, but not right now. Okay. Whilst I've got this down, poisoned, great. Poison is anti-regen and it sucks. No. So the flying fish down there, unfortunately, was not helping me out. I do, as I say, want to defeat him. Please come down. Please come down. Never mind. Okay. So again, I'm trying to get these guys because they drop my Mattock drop, which I really, really need. Thankfully, I've got a 50-minute estimate because if I do have to deal with stuff like this, then I've got a little bit of time to deal with. It's 1 in 16. It shouldn't really. I think maybe 1 in every 5 runs, I won't get a drop by this point. That is the last screen I can get flying fish. So now I'm going to just reset these screens until I get a drop. Come on. There we go. Not too bad then. I'm also going to note that I'm picking up as many chests as possible. If I'm doing a regular any percent, if I'm going for world record, I wouldn't be picking up every single chest. I'd only grab what I need. However, there's an interesting mechanic with the way that rewards and drops work in this game, especially when there's multiple types of drop that an enemy can give you. Don't you do it, okay. So press those 2 buttons, activates the stairs there, and now I'm going to use my high defense and iframes to destroy our first boss. This is the Hydra. Okay. He's not giving me good RNG. He should and can go further out. There we go. You get more hits in that way. Go on, go long, go long. There we go. Nice. 1 more hit, I think. Yeah. That's Hydra down. And that's our first dungeon. So we're going to grab the Magic Book of Fire, and we learn Fire. So we now have our first offensive magic, and the Mirror. So the Mirror is a story item that we need to use for the next dungeon. And we also gain Fire. Fire is helpful. Kinda. For safety's sake, I am going to heal. I don't need to heal, but again, safety. I'm also going to show off a little trick here called Cure Cancelling, where I walk into doors and cancel, and I just cancel the animation of watching the actual cure come through. Okay, so we're going to equip the Mirror. This guy will not let you pass unless you show him the mirror, and it shows his true colors. And he's going to become a werewolf because, you know, that mirror. Urgh! He jumps. There we go. Nice and easy. Okay, so this is our second dungeon, Ket's Manor. We're looking for a different kind of drop now, and I'm going to be defeating the Blood Owls. The Blood Owls drop crystals. Now, crystals in this game, they max out the will gauge on the bottom on use. Now, given the fact that I get a special attack and it doubles my attack power, you can guess that crystals are going to be very, very important. They're needed in all categories of the game, both warpless and any percent. However, they are much more important in this. Both categories are completable without them, but they are markedly harder. I defeated that blood rat just because, or were rat rather, just because they can dash, as you saw there. And dashing, they have a poison property, and I don't want to get poisoned. Because poison, regardless of your defense, regardless of your HP, it deals percentage damage. So it will always be, poison will always be a fear that you're going to have to deal with. Every other drop but crystals. Again, I don't need them, but I really want to see them. I'm going to do a damage boost here as well. These spikes deal your level times 2 damage. So I'm level 7, so I take 14 damage from them. Damn it. Okay. Now there is a trick I could have done, but I accidentally screwed it up. Where if you take damage and you're flashing, Again, because you don't have your collision detection, there's an invisible button there just above the blocks that if you take a hit and you're flashing, you don't press the button to make those blocks appear. So if you take a hit, you can just run up, get the whip, and then run straight back down again, which is very, very helpful. Please, please. Okay. Gonna heal up, do another damage boost, heal with a cure cancel. We're gonna make our way to the western side of the manor. Now that we have a whip, again, the game taught you how to use the whip. You see the pole, you use the whip, it brings you across. That's pretty advanced stuff for a 1991 Game Boy game, I'm just saying. I'm going to see if I can do a frame perfect input here as well. It's kind of hard, but I like it if I can get it. No. If I was to input in a way I could face left without moving left. Okay. If you hit chests onto buttons, they do press the button before they disappear, so... Okay. I try to use as little Mattox as possible because I want to have my inventory be as maxed out as possible. Again, remember that. The things we're remembering: 1, I cannot walk on the ivy, and 2, I need a maxed out inventory. Okay. So we saved the girl from the casket there, and she's now back in our team. Very helpful that we have her when we have poison enemies. Essentially, her ask command of curing you and regenning you is anti-poison. Nice and easy. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to have a walk back, so if our lovely organisers have anything to say, then now's a good time to do it. If they don't, then I'll just continue. Just me, all good. So we'll make our way back to the left. Should note that I'm perhaps one of the few retro runners that we have here at the UKSM. I think we have one retro run a day, so if you're a fan of retro gaming and retro speedrunning, make sure to check out the retro stuff going on here. And if you are here at the event, guys, check out the retro section just to the left. It's pretty sweet. Retro gaming is sweet. Really is. Leveling up. Okay, so I was talking about level build. I want to get as much power as possible. For marathon safety, I would normally level power until 10, but I'm powering up power until level 8. So now I'm going to start building stamina. This is both my defense, +2 per level up, and also my HP. This is very important. Very important. Okay, so we're making our way back to the first screen, and there will be a boss. I will, again, for the purpose of the marathon safety, I will reset this room like twice. I really want a crystal. I really want a crystal. I really want a crystal. I'm not going to do this for too long. I wouldn't normally, but I really want a crystal. Whatever. I don't need it. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I missed it. 1, 2, 3. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2. Cool. Okay. I can't walk on the ivy, right? This isn't warpless. This is any percent straight up. Major warps. Okay. Now, normally, Wendell is to the south. Let's hurry. Okay, let's make our way to the south, shall we? How about we go to an area where there is unpassable terrain on a screen transition. Face up, swing with the sickle, press left, and we, because we're standing on a piece of terrain we can't stand on, the game basically zips us straight up the y-axis to the 0%, or the 0%, the 0 coordinate, and that is the Frostlands. The Frostlands are 1 hour and 10 minutes into the warpless run. There you go. So we're going to get a lot of experience from these enemies, and and they take a lot to be defeated. I also get one shot from this point on, so I have to be very, very careful. However, I will be defeating these walruses because the walruses have a very important drop that allows me to continue this game. Now, these warps are available everywhere in the game. There are loads of funny things you can do to break the game and like warp around the screen. I'm going to do 2 more warps as well. Come back here. Happy Walrus having a cheeky jump. Okay, so I'm using the sleep spell because sleep does put them to sleep, and funnily enough, and the sleep spell is more effective based on how much you have your will gauge charged. So big charge on the will gauge, big sleep, please. Now, again, in an actual attempt, this is a bad thing. Like the longer I have to wait for a drop, the worse it is in a world record run. For me right now, it's not so bad because I'm still getting experience, and I have to do a grind when I do my 2 warps. But the grind for a marathon safe run is a little bit longer than in world record. So again, I would be entering the fight for the final boss at like 27 minutes or 28. Don't you dare! Don't you dare! Again, a 1 in 16 drop. There we go. Yeah. Blizzard. Okay, now, I can continue. Now, as I was mentioning, the first warp I did was because I was standing on a tile that I couldn't actually walk on because it was a destructible tile. Now, I should specify now, and I don't mind wasting some time because my estimate's huge. If I press the button once, I move on a half-tile system, all right? Half-tile movement. Every time I press the button, I will lock in to the next half-tile. Now, I was talking about that flying sword attack, right? So when I have the sword equipped, don't you dare! This is why we save. Cheeky. He's going to do it. He's going to do it! So enemy hitboxes are a bit more funny. Wow, my screen just went weird. When enemies move in their half tiles, their hitboxes extend to the next half tile immediately. So I do have to be careful. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to equip the broadsword, I'm going to save, and we have, unfortunately, no crystal. I have to wait this out. Dear oh dear. Okay, so the ice tiles are not as you think. Don't you dare, he's going to go up, yeah. I need to be safe on this top half of the screen, so I'm going to reset the enemies until they are in a position that's favorable for me. They need to be on the bottom half. So as I was saying, the ice tiles are conveyor belts. They send you in a set direction. There we go, perfect, first time. There you go. So when you are off, what I was doing is because the conveyor belt is basically it just goes for you. I did a flying sword attack perpendicular to the direction of the conveyor belt, and I did it between a half tile. Now, because it was between a half tile, I lost all collision detection and just sailed to the right-hand side off the screen and entered, like, between screens that aren't meant to be there. Save, reset. And then basically I just connect from where I was, the ice cave, into the undersea volcano. And now, I'm going to die, thanks mate. This is why I save. Now, I save to get the enemies back on the screen, and this is why I need the blizzard. By blizzarding the enemies... Actually, I'm going to show you something. So it's called a warp tile, right? When you walk onto a warp tile, you warp to the next screen. At the bottom of this bit here, at the bottom of this screen is a warp tile. Now, if you can go, please, mate. Please. At the bottom of this screen is a warp tile. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place this snowman on it. Now Fuji is going to try and walk with me. Now watch carefully. Whenever she walks into the snowman and kind of clips over the snowman, I walk a pixel by pixel over the snowman. When I'm halfway through the snowman, I can do a flying sword, get behind the warp tile, and this is the final dungeon in the game. So, this is, that's Fuji's mum, by the way. Bye, Fuji's mum. She gives me Excalibur, which is the strongest sword in the game, the Excalibur. 81 plus attack power, and now I can deal damage to the end game area enemies. Now, this is why it's important for me to have my inventory filling up as we go. These are elephants. This split I like to call Rip Dumbo. We're going to kill millions of Dumbos, right? We're going to kill millions of Dumbos. I would get to level 17. At level 17, I would have 81 HP and enough defense to not get one shot by the boss, but I would get two shot. For Marathon, I will probably level up to like 20-ish and build more stamina to gain more defense and more HP. I'd get to like 140 HP, so I can take 2, maybe 3 hits, depending on the damage roll, and defeat the boss a lot easier. These guys also drop items. Now, throughout the game, certain enemies drop 2 items. They'll drop one or the other. It'll be a 1 in 16 chance to get the drop, and it'll also be like a, depending on the item, like a 50-50 to get one or the other. Nice. And there's an item. Now, my inventory isn't complete, but we'll see if I get lucky anyway. Okay. So my inventory should be full. No, it's not. One more. Okay. One more. When I have a full inventory, the item is not selected until you touch the chest. So, when the chest is spawned, it's there. When my inventory is full, it will say can't carry if it's the item I don't want. If it's the item I do want, I can basically push into the chest and it will say can't carry, can't carry, can't carry, until the item becomes what I want. And what I want is a shield. The shield is called the Aegis shield. And the way that shields work in this game, because I've only got the helmet, right? So helmets and armor, those 2 items increase your defense. Shields do not increase your defense. Shields increase your ability to defend against projectiles. Now in this game, enemy projectiles are given a number between 1 and 8. And a shield is also given a number. It's given multiple numbers. 1, 5, 9, whatever, even though it goes up to 8. The Aegis shield has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8 assigned to it. I don't know why I haven't got 7. But essentially, the enemy projectiles will be blocked by the Aegis shield. What's also a double bonus about being slept is that when enemies are under the influence of sleep, they don't get iframes when you hit them, so you can wail on them very, very quickly, which makes grinding nice and fast. So now I have 81 HP. I would normally get to 81, and then when I have 81, go and fight the final boss and get one shot potentially, and level up to 19 in the fight, and get more HP that way. I'm not getting lucky with these drops today. But it's okay because I need to grind more, so I should be alright. Honestly, I don't even need the shield. Funnily enough, my PB doesn't have the shield. I lost 20 seconds to the final boss, but I still PB'd, right? See, I'm going to get to like 140 HP. This is a strangely low amount of drops though, but it does happen. It does happen. Okay. Again, rip Dumbo, but so you might hear like a flashing noise or like a beep, beep, beep. That's a shield. So enemies have directional shields as well. If they're facing a certain way, you won't be able to hit them. Now the Dumbos are annoying because, or some enemies are annoying because they don't have directions that they can face. You can't tell what way they're facing until you attack them and they go beep, and you go, ah, great. But such is life. Can I please get some drops? Has anyone here played Toho? Show a hand, has anyone played Toho? Now, Toho's fun, right? Bullet hell games are generally fun. We like bullet hell games. Why do we like bullet hell games? Because the controls are really smooth and your hitbox is a pixel, right? I'll show you real Toho. Almost there. Almost there. So again, the grind would have been over ages ago, but again, for marathon safety, I just want to add a lot of time to this grind so I can get as much HP as possible. Now, I'm very, very aware that there may be some younger gamers in the audience who don't know half the things I'm mentioning and the references I'm making because I'm really old. But all these games I'm talking about are great. Hello? Okay, unicorn, right. My inventory is now full. Please give me one more drop. so I can show off the cool stuff. Okay, yeah. Now, you can see that there are sometimes one, sometimes two enemies on the screen. I'll generally try and get two, because it's quicker to grind, obviously. Stamina. Ooh. Now, wisdom is your magic. If you increase wisdom, you get more MP, and you get more magic power. Very, very important. Blah, blah, blah. Very important for the magic route in the game. And again, I'm resetting to respawn all of the enemies. I'm almost there. Hopefully I get a drop now, because I'm going to make my way over to the final boss now. One more level up and a half, and I'll be ready to go to the boss. Thank you. Okay. Okay, cool. Eat a shield. There we go. Yay! Now, had it not been the Aegis shield, it would have just been like, oh, you can't carry that. You don't get an Aegis shield. Screw you. Okay. We'll go power. We'll risk it for a biscuit. Okay. 1, 2, 4. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to kill 4 more elephants. So the final boss is split into 3 fights. The only difficult fight is the first one. So I'll give you some context to why I am definitely... I always want to do the world record strats because they're funny, but I will give you a story. I did 2 runs one day. My PB, world record, whatever you want to call it, was the second run I did that day. The first run I did, I got to the final boss in 27 minutes, good pace, on pace for a low 31. I got to the boss. It took me longer to defeat the first fight than it took me to get there on the first run. The next time I did it, I got the world record. Whatever. So, this is Julius. Now, you might notice I have a girl with me because I glitched her into the end part of the game, so I shouldn't have the girl for this first part of the fight. She's a boon, and without her, it's impossible. So, the first fight is a 3-part fight where he fires loads and loads of bullets. Are you seeing the Toho reference now? Now, I can defend against his shots, and I can survive against his shots quite well, because I've got my HP. If he was to touch me, body contact damage, I would die in 1 hit. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. He's moving up. Take the risk. Yeah. There's 3 of them. They're annoying. I want them to all be on one side. And I'm also saving outside of the fight so I can let my gauge build up. And again, this is where the crystals are a massive boon, because when you have the crystals, you can fly away. But yeah, the idea of doing this without an Aegis shield, so you can't defend against the projectiles, with, I want to say, 67 less HP, is good. Let me cure your wounds, UK. We need someone to cure our wounds right now. No, don't do this. His positioning is really horrible. So he has 3 things he can do. He can walk, he can shoot nukes, and he can also frame 1 warp onto your position. Haha. So the flying sword makes me immune. I have iframes during it. Oh, don't do this to me, Julius. Oh, yes, okay, cool, 1's down. So with 1 down, the fight is so much easier. Okay, yeah, we got it. Fight's done, it's over. Unless he frame 1 warps onto me, then maybe. Like he can literally just like he'll go invisible as well. But every now and then. Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to walk. What are you doing, Julius? I don't want to kill him on the left-hand side. I want him to be on the right-hand side, and you'll see why. Come on, Julius. What a position. What a position. What a position, dude. Stop it! I think that one deserves a clap. That was a hard fight. Okay. Second fight. He starts in the middle and moves right. I don't want to finish him there. So I save now, because now I'm past the big fight. Oh, okay. And now, I know this fight inside out. Three hits whenever he dives. 2 if I'm on the right-hand side. 2 strikes as he dives. You can also break the lightning at the same time, which is very important. Also, this song is absolutely amazing. And this, when you beat Julius 1 on record pace, that's when like the nerves come in. That's when the nerves come in. Like I'm just doing a marathon run, and even right now, like my left hand's having a little bit of a. You're right, BOWie. Okay, so yeah, moving. If I'm on this like half tile here, I'm safe. So it's just about knowing enemy hitboxes and knowing where you can be. So the Aegis shield is important for the first fight, yes, but it's most important for the final fight. I lost all my time in the final fight in this part here because we have a 3-part fight. So you may see the second girl. I have 2 girls with me. The one that's come with me throughout the game, and then the narrative girl who's meant to be here in the final fight. Now the game's a bit busted because it has both. The second girl is in the game, but she's kind of like still there. So I can move around, but if I walk into her, it slows the game down. So because of this, I save, I reset, and the girl disappears. And then we do the final fight as normal. So I can get 6 hits if I'm very, very well timed. Didn't get it. But his positioning is always the same. So I have this fight memorized now. So, and you can see I'm using these moments where I can block the projectiles to get more hits out. Normally I'd have to move really, really far to avoid it, but because of the Aegis shield, I can get more hits out, which speeds this fight up immensely. I'm also going to just do a heal just in case, because there's one position where I can get hit. And time's coming up as well, so I'll let you know. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it's coming up very, very shortly. You ready on time? And time. There we go. So yeah, that's Final Fantasy Adventure any percent. I'm wondering what my time was actually. What's the time? 41. Woo! Not bad. I got a 42 yesterday. Yeah, so that's there's loads of story that we missed out. Essentially, the Tree of Mana is destroyed, and Fuji and Sumo, who you know, bless her, they fall in love, all that kind of thing. But she decides, for the good of the world, for the good of Mana, that she has to stay behind and become the new seed of Mana and become the new Mana tree, and he will become her guardian, the new Gemma Knight, to look after her as she becomes the new Tree of Mana. And then obviously Secret of Mana is a thing that everyone knows about. There's a Tree of Mana in that one, and the main character Randy and all that kind of stuff is linked to the Mana tree and all that kind of stuff. So it's a really, really, really cool series. This game has had a remake, and multiple remakes. Sword of Mana on the Game Boy Advance, and Adventures of Mana, which came out on mobile titles, mobile devices, and Vita. If you have a mobile, which I think some of you might do, pick up Adventures of Mana, because it's a bloody good game. And it's a wonderfully faithful remake. So yeah, that's Final Fantasy Adventure. Actually, Adventures of Mana is in a marathon coming up as well soon, so there's that. That's everything from me. Thank you very much for watching. I'm BOWieTheHERO. You know what to do if you're interested in seeing more. I hope you guys have had a good time. And yeah, enjoy the rest of UKSM Live. Cheers.